is a Hall of Fame Memphis drummer, best known for being Jerry Lee Lewis's main drummer for the last 30 years. But before that, he was in influential bands Zyder Z as well as many other bands, and he has advised drummers all over the world from his position as owner of the Memphis Drum Shop. He was born in 1951, just a few blocks from Graceland. Here are some of his stories.
A lot of Memphis history that Mark's aware of too. Mark's aware of a lot of that Memphis music history.
Yeah, I know some Elvis shit nobody else knows.
Yeah.
I mean, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah. Have you told me these stories? Because I don't remember.
I do too.
See,
Yeah.
I have Elvis stories because I was a kid.
Yeah.
Early on, we lived 3 blocks from Graceland, so we used to either ride our bikes or walk in the drainage ditch system that would come out right at the back of Graceland. And when he had horses instead of cars back there, and then when he got cars, so I had met Elvis several times sitting on the fence, and they'd be, the word would spread through the neighborhood. They're all out, they're playing. So we'd go over there and get on the wall. There was a tree we could climb, and then it would drop you one of those limbs and put you right on top of that wall around to the side of Graceland. And they would ride either the mini bikes or go-karts or horses or what, and come over there. And I had met Elvis first in Lowenstein's department store. My mom ran the candy department and the gift wrapping department. And she would call me up and say, come on up here. And I'd go up there. They'd close the store at 9 o'clock, about 9:30. Elvis and 2 or 3 of his entourage would show up, and he'd walk through the store Christmas shopping. And my mom was always one of those employees that was asked to stay and take care of, and then wrap his presents and stuff. So I just followed him around. So he knew my name. That was it, But then he started seeing me on the fence or on the wall. And then when I worked at a florist that was on Elvis Presley Boulevard, and when his mom died, she was put over in Forest Hill or whatever that cemetery right there on 51 is. And that's where he was. They had a little mausoleum that was going to be where Elvis was, but while his mom was there, then he hired the florist I worked for to put fresh flowers on her grave 3 times a week.
Wow.
And so then at Christmas or birthdays or whatever, fans would call this florist. Somehow they knew the connection and would have flowers for Elvis for Easter and I would deliver them to Graceland, and he'd be sitting in on the couch or something, and he goes, "Is that Bobby?"
That's
and I'd take the flowers in, and he'd say, "How's Mama doing?" I said, "I keep the grave swept off. It's beautiful. There's always fresh flowers. Anytime you want to visit, it's there, and you'll be proud." And blah. And then, of course, when it was so huge a thing when he died, they moved them all over to Graceland. But knew him, got invited. He came in one time to the Manhattan Club, and I was senior in high school and playing I think we played 10 to 4 every night. And I was the only singer in a 3-piece band. That's where I developed this voice.
Yeah.
Raw and rough, singing all night.
You can sing that ass. You always, man. You sing that ass.
But he came in one night. The Tiller Brothers used to come in. Did you ever hear the Tiller Brothers? They were the resident gangsters. They would rob drugstores and liquor stores and anything that was worth robbing. But they would come in the Manhattan Club at night. When I took the job, I was 15, and the club owner said, "If you stop playing when they start shooting, you don't get paid." And I thought it was a joke, and I was trying to act adult and all of this, and no problem, And so, sure enough, Tiller Brothers would come in, and they would empty these. They looked like doctor bags, black bags. Empty them on the table, and be counting money and pills and dividing between them.
Wow!
And they put their pistols on the table while they did it, so no one's going to mess with them, right? And then when at 2, 3 in the morning, and they loved me because when they would just look at me, I'd sing Mr. Pitiful by Otis Redding, and they just fucking loved it. So, but they had a double loading doors at the back of the club. You know, those double door kind of things where you put like a 2x10 down and it goes across in these little crates to keep from open. So I put the cocktail glasses on that 2x10 when they were really drunk and go back there in the back of the club and start shooting those.
Yeah, keep playing.
Mr. Pitiful. You know, I was there. And when fights broke out, they would literally get between me and the band and the fight.
Oh,
so
wow.
nothing was going to happen. I would literally get down on my knees behind the drums. But they weren't going to let anything happen. But anyway, Elvis came in one night and he invited the band to Graceland to jam after the gig.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
so, well, it's going to be pretty late. You know, it's going to be 4:30.
How old are you at this time?
I was 15. By that time I was 16. 16, 17.
Oh,
and I didn't go.
Oh
No.
I was chasing this girl.
Well, it's always.
I mean, and I thought, hey, I've known him forever. I've grown up. He's right down the street. This opportunity will come again.
Oh,
this will happen again.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Because it never did.
Man alive, what a story. See, you never told me that story. Oh, my God.
I'm still telling the story. Dad goes, well, I never heard that. Did cocaine with the Allman brothers.
There you go.
I was on the road with the Gentrys, and the bass player and I were huge Allman brothers. That very first year when they were special.
Yes.
When Dwayne
69
and
70.
Barry Oakley. Oh my God, they were special. They literally.
It's a great record.
It was magic.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of those magic things, and we were in Birmingham with the Gentrys, and they were there the next night. And we were off, and I said, let's go see the Allman Brothers again for the third or fourth time, you know. And as soon as they started playing, they were in it was almost like a high school auditorium thing. It was one of those where the stage is this tall, and there's 3 steps on either end of the stage, you know, just like your auditorium or cafeteria in the high schools. Well, as soon as they started the first sermon, bunch of kids run down to the front of the stage. Well, the cops are all, you know, it's Birmingham Motown. Yeah. They come down and they're pushing well, while they're pushing everybody back, and I had done some LSD that day. So I was fearless. And I walked up the 3 little steps and stood between Dickie Betts and Dwayne Allman's staff, Marshall staff.
Damn.
Stood there, and I could see this drummer there, and this drummer was right there. I mean, they were 3.5 feet in front of me, you know. And watched the whole first show, and I'm just like, I can remember my mind thinking, because I was fucked. I had really long hair and a beard, and so I fit in. I looked like one of the road crew or something. And I remember looking at these drummers going, okay, I see what he's playing. Okay, I see what he's playing. And neither's playing the same thing, and the 2 of them were making a third thing happen with what they were doing. And I was just like mesmerized. I was like, fuck me, how are they doing that? You know? And when they took a break, they played like an hour and a half or so. When they took a break, they started leaving behind the amps to go in their dressing room, and Greg Allman grabbed my arm and just kind of pulled me along because my eyes must have been salted. And we sat in the dressing room, and I remember they pulled out these bottles, Porcine bottles, which was the same bottle that Dwayne used on his finger to slide, right? But they had Porcine bottles full of Merck flake cocaine, pharmaceutical cocaine. And I remember they would do this and make this little cave right there. And so he comes over to me, and he's doing, and of course whatever it is, I'll do it.
Doesn't matter.
Oh my God.
And then boom, we got to go back on, and they drug me out, and I stood right there between those 2.
Jeez.
I remember we got done, Bobby Lyle said, how in the fuck did you get up on the stage?
See, that's what I mean.
So I got a million of them.
Man.
I wrote
I'd love
Jimi Hendrix.
I'd love for
when
you
they played
guys
in Memphis the first
spend
time.
some time together.
Jimi Hendrix.
That's another good story.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
I think you
He's
told me
got
this.
tons of them. Jimi Hendrix.
I didn't even know Jimi Hendrix came to Memphis.
Oh yeah, I still have my ticket stub.
Yeah. I remember when
And the
Led Zeppelin
newspaper
came.
article the next day that said how awful this
Walter
was.
Dawson, right?
Yeah.
Terrible. He
Yeah.
was awful.
And the headline in his article was Hendrix fails to light audience fire.
You know,
And I was like,
yeah.
was he at the same time?
Walter Dawson hated everybody. We'd go to concert the next day, read the review. So 1978, Black Sabbath's coming to town. We go, oh goddamn, we got to see Black Sabbath, right? And so we get our tickets. We stay out all night at Pop Tunes on Summer. We get like third row center, whatever. And so we hear they're in Nashville the night before. Ozzy don't show up to the concert. It gets canceled. I went, shit, I hope it's going to happen here. Well, so the next night comes and we go to the show. And this unknown band is opening up. We didn't have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
Blow our doors off.
Was it Van Halen?
Yeah, yeah. And they
I
played.
read
And they
about
played
that.
all 8 songs. They played the whole record.
Yeah.
That's all they had.
Yeah.
And it blew us away. Well,
I
Black
heard they
Sabbath
canceled
came
the
out,
show.
and they just went through the motions. And we
Yeah.
thought, shit.
I heard the same story.
I don't give a damn about it. Walter Dawson got it right. That's one review he got right. He said Van Halen is the biggest fucking thing ever, and they were unbelievable.
I read
And
about
whereas
that.
Black Sabbath went through the motions. And later it turned out the rumor was that Ozzy had a girlfriend in Nashville and didn't make it to the show or whatever. But he was such an idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Walter Dawson. Did you ever read the reviews in the paper?
No, I don't remember that. I don't remember.
God, he was vicious, wasn't he?
Probably go into the archives and
Yeah.
find some of the. But was he because one of it was either him or the other reviewer, but I thought it was Walter that at the end got caught reviewing shows he didn't go to.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
He,
Wow.
he got let go
Wow.
because they discovered he wasn't even
No,
going.
he didn't get it right.
So he said Hendrix was no good.
Oh,
Hendrix, no good.
But when the show was over, it was Ellis Auditorium, and I knew that room. I'd been in there as a high school band play. I mean, I knew it. I'd been in there to see a lot of acts, and when they got done, I had a date. That was again, I think, my senior or junior year in high school, and when they got done, I told my dad, I said, I want to go around back and watch them come out that back door and get in the limo. And you remember the back loading dock of the auditorium was up about this far.
You're about
from
North
Front
Hall.
Street. Yeah,
Yeah.
Front Street. So I go out there, and there's a whole line of police going from that one. He has to come out this door. It's the only door. So they're lined up from the door to where the thing dropped off. And so I said, well, I'm gonna jump down there and go around and just watch them getting in the limo. And so I jumped down and left her up on that dock with the people, and they all got in the limo, and the driver came around and he had the back door open, and he said, he looked up in the front, and he said, full up there, come on and get in here. And I went, so I get in the back seat with Jimi Hendrix, with all 3 of them, Mitch Mitchell, and I think I said something about, that was just a great show, and by then we have driven away from the auditorium, and Jimmy says, he's not with the band. And so we drove to the Peabody and let the band out, and then the limo driver took me back to Ellis Auditorium, by which time everyone was gone, my date included. But the upside was, when I got to school Monday morning, everyone in school, all they knew was, he left with Hendrix after the show. So my legend looms large, even though...
But the truth is, the only words Jimi Hendrix ever spoke to you were, he's not with the band.
He's not with the band. Yeah.
Wow.
I love that.